Do you want to experience the thrill of a Packers game at Lambeau Field? If so, be sure to get your game tickets from the longtime trusted source in Wisconsin, Ticket King. Visit their locations in Milwaukee and Green Bay, or just go to their website, theticketking.com. Again, that's theticketking.com.
And now, for fans of the 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers, this is Cheesehead TV Live.
Cheetahs don't stretch and neither do we.
I think you're an idiot. And I mean that with the most respect possible that I can give to an idiot.
Packers Hall of Fame quarterback Jay Cutler.
It's not as fun to say as equanimous.
That is a perfect example of a wrong opinion. Ring the bell. All right, welcome back, Packers fans. It is another edition of Cheesehead TV Live from a different location here. We're at the Stadium Club in Chandler. Those of you in the house, do not adjust your eyes. I am not Brad.
That's right.
I am Jason Perone of Cheesehead TV, and alongside me, Jeremy VanDerLinden of Cheesehead TV as well. Happy Thursday night.
Happy Thursday.
All right,
Happy Thursday, Packer fans.
All right, so
it's game day.
We have turned it up a little bit. Our engineer and producer here has really got some good stuff for you today, including some great video clips. So, short week, Packers-Eagles. Seems like we just did this a couple days ago. I'm feeling good.
I feel good.
I feel good.
I feel real good.
Feeling good. So,
you want to do the inactives?
The inactives.
All right, so for the Packers tonight, the inactives are Montravius Adams, Oren Burks, Kadar Holman, Jake Kummerow, Cole Madison, Adam Pankey, and Dexter Williams. No surprises there. For the Eagles, some big inactives tonight. We got wide receiver Deshaun Jackson and corner Ronald Darby will be out tonight, as well as quarterback Nate Sudfeld and Sharif Miller, the defensive end, guard Nate Herbig. That's a fun name.
Yep.
All right, guard tackle Matt Pryor and defensive tackle Timmy Jernigan.
Do you think Matt Pryor is related to Mark Pryor?
Or Terrell
Special
Pryor.
teams ace on the 96 Packers team that won the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
I
couldn't tell you. We should ask him. We'll ask him later.
All right, so on a short week here, fortunately, the Packers are coming into this game pretty healthy on what is only a couple days rest. As Darius Smith was listed as questionable, he will play tonight, or he will dress. The Packers offense obviously needs to kind of get some things going here, and I know that's where we're going to start off with some of our keys to the game. But I think, the defense has been the star of the show for the first three games, but this week, it'd be nice on national TV for the offense to kind of quiet the doubters a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. This would be it's time. I predicted this at the beginning of the season that this week would be the week that the Packers start to roll offensively, and I think that's going to happen. We saw it get last week they increased what they were doing. They increased what we had seen in the first 2 weeks, and I think that this week they are going to play a full football game. I think they're going to be just fine, and it starts right now.
Right. Okay, so you did some great research, once again, on this whole thing. So we've got some stats here. So from the first quarter.
Okay, so.
Very interesting stuff.
All right, so we're getting into the offense. Is that correct?
The offensive. Oh, you want to go keys to the game?
Yeah, keys to the game. Let's just dive in.
Let's do it. All right, offensive keys to the game.
All right.
Keys to the game.
Offense. Blitz. Rodgers steps away, in trouble, throws as he's hit, and it is caught. It is touchdown. Adams. How did he catch that?
All right. So, remember that Vikings game, the first quarter, they scored 21 points?
Yeah.
And they were lighting the world on fire.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden everything went to kind of into sleep mode.
Yep.
And then against Denver, kind of on and off again. So, You got a stat here. In the first quarter, Aaron Rodgers, 16 of 24 for 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he has 3 plays of 25 or more yards. That's in the first quarter. That's good.
First quarter
that's
play
getting off
for the
to
season.
a good.
Yep.
That's getting off to a good start. But that's when things are scripted.
Yep.
And then when the script goes away and they have to start game planning and adjusting, that's when things kind of change a little bit.
Right.
Right? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah. So now this is from Ben Fennell from The Athletic,
yep.
which he does a great job. And if you don't subscribe to The Athletic, that dude alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, he's great.
You should be signing up for that immediately. But in the first quarter of play, Aaron Rodgers his rating is 140.3, and he's averaging 10.33 yards per attempt. In the second quarter, it goes down to 5.66 yards per attempt and 90.8 rating.
And then even worse, the third quarter. Third quarter is the worst. 4.7 yards per average and a 59.2 rating. So it's like they come in out of halftime and it's just clunky.
Yep, bad stuff. And then fourth quarter, things pick up a little bit from that, and it's 7.29. So 7.29 yards per attempt, 86.4. So there's a huge drop from first quarter to last quarter, and there's a big dip right in the middle.
Right.
And so they're going to have to figure out how to get that roller coaster to be even. They got to figure it out. This team, what we've seen in the first quarter, can be a thing that we see for 4 quarters.
Right.
And they need to start doing that tonight against this Eagles team, because the Eagles are no joke. Regardless of their record, this is a team that should win a lot of football games.
Well, they're coming in desperate. So a desperate team is a dangerous team, and the Eagles are down a couple guys, so they've got to get it going. Like they dropped one at home to the Lions, a game that they probably could have tried to win. Unfortunately, Detroit came through and beat them up. We were hoping that game might go to overtime, kind of tire the Eagles out a little bit. One of the issues is the Packers are not staying on the field on offense.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not sustaining drives, and one of the biggest issues is third down. So their third down conversion rate is 25%. That's 30th in the league.
30th in the league. Yep.
Not good. 10% on third and long. That's also
30th in the
league.
Yep.
Right? And then they have 11 3 and outs. That's the second most.
Second most 3 and outs. So big key for today, they really need to extend their drives. It's important for them to start playing full games. They need to extend drives. And we talked about this last week. They really need to give their defense more of a break in the game, because when it comes down to the defense at the end of the game, those guys are huffing. They are tired because they've played so much football. It's time for the offense to start taking over some of that responsibility and keeping them off the field. Let them get some rest.
Well, and the offense has to get its feet under it, I guess, for lack of a better term. And one of the issues is they haven't played much.
Yeah.
So, but that excuse is going away more and more by every game.
Yeah.
And now we're in week 4, and they played enough football, and I don't think that excuse really exists in mass any longer. But one of the big things is Aaron Rodgers. Use your vision.
Yep.
Take what's there in front of you.
Yep.
Okay, and he's not pulling the trigger on some of these short passes, so then he's holding on to the ball. So Ben Fennell again. When Aaron Rodgers holds the ball more than 2.5 seconds, he's only 48.1% good. That's not great.
Yeah.
That's not great. And he's been sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
So that's a hanging on to the ball thing, and that I don't know if that's the way the play is called, the offense is set up. It's, there's a lot we don't know about it, but then afterwards, every week after the All-22 comes out and guys start breaking down film and you start seeing on Twitter little snippets here and there, it becomes very apparent that there's things that this offense is going to have available to them.
Right.
Let's not forget they got to establish the run and run the football too.
Right.
Play action and all that good stuff, but when Aaron Rodgers settles in and gets comfortable with his offense, I think that's when things are going to start to churn. It would help if they got a little tune-up this week, because then they get a little bit extra rest and they're going on the road for the first time in almost a month to face the Dallas Cowboys a week from Sunday.
Yep, agreed. So you want to get to this highlight video?
Yeah, let's
Aaron
take
Rodgers?
a look. Let's take a look at it. So is this, and set this one up. This video shows Aaron Rodgers getting the ball out quickly and the success that the offense can have when he gets rid of the football. So again, the Packers really need to work on getting that ball out quicker. The offense needs to get a rhythm, and the best way to do that is for Rodgers to start getting rid of the ball much faster and start moving his team downfield. Dink and dunk. I like to see a dink and dunk offense. That's my favorite thing to see in football, where you methodically move your way down the field and dominate a game against the defense's will. And that's the kind of thing that the Packers could do if Rodgers just gets rid of the damn football. Yeah.
That's key tonight. Get rid of the football.
Well,
move the ball.
Try to mix in some runs, but here's the problem. The Packers are running the football okay, but the Eagles have the second best run defense in the league, so the Packers aren't going to have probably not have a ton of room to run the football. They're going to have to do it via the pass. But with Darby being out, that's a big loss for the Eagles defense.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers has to feast. The question about whether the receivers are there, or they're good enough or not, doesn't matter. They're good enough to catch footballs. Just get the ball to those guys.
Right. So that brings us to the next key of the game. Get the ball to 17.
Davante Adams.
Get the ball to Davante Adams.
That was asked several times this week. Nathaniel Hackett went on in the media and talked to the media and talked about how they've got to get the ball to Davante Adams. Obviously, teams are going to key on him, but you've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of your playmaker. And I think that also is going to rely on Aaron Rodgers to see you've got a receiver here who's got elite footwork. Remember the slant that Favre used to throw? Yeah. And it was super quick? Yep. Rodgers has to pull the trigger fast on that whole thing.
Yep.
Because, Davante gets himself a couple yards, a couple feet of separation. Just get the ball out quick and let him do his thing. He does a lot after he catches the football. We've seen him score touchdowns on plays where he had to muscle his way into the end zone. He can do it.
Right, he can do it. So taking a look at the trends here for the Eagles defense, they are allowing, again, it's a trend that goes way back to last season. They're allowing number one receivers from the NFL to dominate their defense. In week 1 against the Redskins, Terry McLaurin had 5 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. In week 2, Julio Jones had 5 catches for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. In week 3, Marvin Jones Jr. had 6 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. So the Packers need to continue this trend today and get Davante Adams the football.
But I see in the chat here we've got Get Vitale involved, Spider 2, Y Banana all night long. Hey, if that works, go for it. There's a ghost of Packers past going to be in the house, and the Eagles head coach Doug Peterson will be on the sideline. Carson Wentz going to play in this game.
Yep. So actually, we have a little highlight video of some fullback getting some action here. So we're going to have Vitale catching some passes. We'll show you a little bit of video of that coming up here in a minute. So that's the next, and that's actually next part of the next key is clearly establish the depth of your passing game.
Yep.
You have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Geronimo Allison, and now Danny Vitale can be part of that, and Robert Tonyan, who I think Tonyan is obviously the best receiving option at tight end right now with Jimmy Graham being injured.
Being injured and not really playing well.
Right.
Or hard.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. And so Robert Tonyan is going to have to step up, and hopefully, last week, kind of a bummer, he didn't run his route in full and just missed a touchdown at the beginning of the game. Those are things he's got to fix and clean up. Everyone loves Big Bob. He's got a great folk following in Packers land, but he's got to earn it with some of those plays in the field. He's got to make those plays.
Yeah.
You got to go all out. You got to go full speed.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to show some Vitale.
Yeah, you want to see some Vitale?
You ready for it?
I'm ready for it. I love me some Danny Vitale, and I love fullback play. So it gives me great joy to show this highlight. So I should have probably set that up a little bit. I got a little distracted by our technology.
I was like, did Danny Vitale play for the Titans?
So here's the point of that video. Danny Vitale is not the only big man in the NFL succeeding on a play like that. That is a common occurrence in the NFL right now. Teams leaking the fullback out of the backfield, and what happens is the linebackers crash down to pick up the run game because what teams are doing is they're going in a heavy set. So the Packers were in 21 personnel last week, so it's 2 running backs and a tight end, and Vitale starts going upfield, and the linebacker totally ignores him, ready to pick up the running back on the play-action fake. He's also responsible, this linebacker, for Danny Vitale. So as Vitale runs by him, leaked right past him, Vitale's open for a big catch.
Danny Vitale leaked like a viral video.
All of those plays are the same exact thing, the same exact idea, concept, scheme, whatever, using the fullback, leaking out of the backfield, moving past the linebacker who's responsible for him, and catching the ball pretty darn deep. And I think Vitale can do that pretty consistently this season. We can see that play happen a lot, and I would like to see it again tonight. And he should have gotten the end zone on that catch.
Yeah,
he absolutely should have gotten the end zone.
Well, yeah, he didn't run he slowed up a little bit.
He did.
And Rodgers threw him a good ball. So
he did.
I think we talked about the run game a little bit, established a semblance of it. It's going to be difficult to do.
Yep.
Some pretty good ball carriers have been held in check. I mean, Darius Geis, 18 yards. Saw Devontae Freeman, 22 yards. Kerryon Johnson, 20 carries, just 36 yards. This Eagles defense is stingy.
That hurts, man. That
Very
hurts.
stingy.
So in the averages on that for Washington was 1.8 yard average for Geis, 2 yard average for Freeman, and then 1.8 again for Kerryon Johnson. So this defense is super stingy, and the Packers' offense, as far as running the ball, they haven't really been that consistent. 3.5, almost 3.5, 3.4 yards per carry. But I think tonight, all they need to do is continue that average. I'd really like to see the offense at 4 yards a carry, but 3.5, I think, against this defense is just fine. If they can continue that tonight, that's going to be a win for the Packers.
Huge win. All right, so that's the offensive side of the ball. Now, for the real stars of the show so far this season, the Packers defense. They have been all over everywhere, winning everything, doing everything. They lead the league in turnovers. They lead the league in everything. They lead the league in
smiles,
big play celebration,
happiest dances.
Your fantasy, if you have the Packers on your fantasy team, you're doing real well. So let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk some defensive keys to the game.
Keys to the game. Defense.
They bring everybody. Allen trying to get out of trouble. Allen chucks it downfield. Intercepted. Allen has it picked off. Jair Alexander is brought down, and the Bills come up empty.
All right, so the heat, it's starting to cool off a little bit in Wisconsin, but the Packers got to keep it hot. They got to keep that pressure on, keep the heat up, turn the heat up at Lambeau Field. So they lead the league in pressures, 39%, but they also have the 5th lowest blitz rate, so they're getting pressure with their front without having to send extra guys.
That's right.
That bodes well.
That does bode very well. I think, obviously we know how well Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith have been. So with Zadarius Smith has 15 pressures on the season, which is great. Surprisingly, I don't know if it's really a surprise, Kenny Clark has 10 pressures.
Yeah, that's great.
So those 3 guys, and then Preston Smith with 4.5 sacks leads the team in sacks. Those 3 guys have been dominating up front, and they need to continue to do that tonight. Through 3 games, the 2 Smiths have 7.5 sacks, and 14 quarterback hits. In 2018, Clay Matthews and Nick Perry ended the season with 5 sacks.
Oof.
So the Smith brothers have 7.5 already.
But Jeremy, Clay Matthews has 4 sacks already this season. Should they have let him go?
Oh my goodness!
Are you sure?
Yep. Okay. Satisfied with this choice. I love it.
So big hats off to Brian Gutekunst, the Packers general manager, for the big turnaround. He made some big bold moves in the offseason, spent a lot of money, and it's already paying off, paying some pretty good dividends. So what do we got? What's next?
I have a little video of the defense getting to the quarterback.
All right. All right, so quarterbacks see those guys barreling down on them. It doesn't feel too good. Preston Smith, by the way, NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
That's awesome, man.
Huge.
That is so awesome. Brian Gutekunst knocked it out of the park with these 2 guys. Just absolutely knocked it out of the park. They've changed the culture in Green Bay. And you know what? I want to credit Jair Alexander for that, too. I think the swagger that's on this defense right now, it has to do with those 2 guys. Yeah. But Jair is a big part of that swagger.
Yeah.
And he brought that last year. That started last year. But these 2 guys coming in, the attitude, the defensive attitude that they have in Baltimore, Zadarius.
Don't care about Boston.
Don't care about Boston at all. Zadarius brought that with him from Baltimore. That attitude that they have there where they're a nasty defense, he brought that. It's infectious, and you could see it on the defense.
He's a captain.
Nasty.
He's a captain already.
That's why he's a captain.
All right,
why.
So we mentioned Deshaun Jackson's not going to play. Alshon Jeffrey's coming back off an injury as well. They're a little banged up in the passing game, so we expect the Eagles to rely a lot on their tight ends.
Yep.
And that's the middle of the defense. So Oren Burks is still out. Blake Martinez is there. You've got Josh Jackson. Will Redmond are options. Will Redmond struggled a little bit last week.
Yeah, but those 2 did play. They did play some of that nickel linebacker spot, so we'll see some of that tonight.
Yeah, the tight ends are going to be a key. So that's one of the biggest defensive things is you've got to limit the tight ends. You got to keep those guys in check.
Yep, absolutely. Got to keep the tight ends in check. And Zach Ertz is going to have a day, but you really just need to get him to the ground, right? Like, tackling is key when it comes to a tight end like that.
No yak.
He's going to get his catches.
No yak.
Don't let him get any extra yards. They got to get him to the ground.
B.J. Goodson will be big on that too, and he's been hot and cold so far.
Right.
Another acquisition that they made,
but he can cover some, right? He can do it a little.
Hopefully he comes through. They're going to need his best. They're going to need everyone's best tonight to try to limit those yards after the catch. The Packers have struggled in the past bringing big guys down. Hopefully it's a new attitude, it's a new defense, and we're not going to have that problem again.
Yep.
This season. So that was big. The short pass. If Aaron Rodgers, everyone in the NFL is looking to get the ball out and limit pressure. So they know the Packers are putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Carson Wentz is going to look to get the ball out fast. They're trying to survive this week and play on into week 5 for themselves too. Carson Wentz is going to look to throw short. So the coverage is going to have to be pretty tight. You talked about Jair Alexander. You got Kevin King, some of these other guys.
We have cheese coming.
All right.
We have kickoff cheese.
Very important.
We got to have the kickoff cheese.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
so much. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
This is a tradition. We don't eat it
I'm
yet.
going to hold on to the
Don't
shelf.
eat it yet. Don't eat it yet.
Computer.
Don't eat it until the kickoff.
Don't eat it until kickoff. Kickoff cheese is very important.
Do it right. Don't blow our first show here at the Stadium Club.
I will not.
I haven't called it that other bar yet.
Good.
So take away the short pass, Jeremy. Anything on this? The nickel D is going to be on the field a lot. Obviously, do we have confidence in the bottom of the cornerback depth chart to limit these guys? If Josh Jackson has to play, we haven't seen a lot from him so far this season. Do you feel confident?
Well, luckily the Packers have stayed healthy in the secondary, and I'm confident in the secondary. It's not the passing game that I'm concerned about. So I think they're going to be just fine taking away the short passes. And they're going to be pretty damn good taking the ball away, too. And that is the next key to the game, win the turnover battle, I think.
It is. The Eagles are losing. They've turned the ball over 5 times this season. They've only taken it away 3 times. So
they're losing that battle overall.
5 turnovers in 4 games, not great. That's a little over 1 per game.
Yep.
I don't know if they had a bunch in one game and didn't have some in the other. The Packers definitely could benefit from some turnovers here.
Right. They lead the league with 6 takeaways.
Yeah.
Lead the league with 6 takeaways.
Well, the Eagles are well coached. Doug Peterson's a good coach. They've got their limitations. The one thing they can control is not giving up the football. They're not going to want to do that to the Packers because Green Bay is going to make you pay if it's early in the game. That's also another thing, too. If the Packers had actually cashed in on some of these turnovers the way that they have, I've seen them in seasons past and at a higher rate, they would be just dominant right now.
Yep.
They'd be dominating everybody.
Yep, absolutely.
So you've got to put points on the board if you get turnovers. You've got to turn that into points and really deflate the other side. Make them quit.
All right. So let's play this video. The Jair Alexander takeaway from last week against Noah Fant. It's beautiful. Get your YouTube questions ready. If you're in the YouTube chat, send your questions our way. We'll get to those next. As soon as I find this video, which is coming. And there it is. Now, all the highlights this week are from Ben Fennell. Thank you so much, Ben Fennell, for all the beautiful work that you do. Again, if you are not signed up for The Athletic, you should be. He brings the heat. You want that. So, Jair's got that my ball attitude. My ball. The defense has this is my football.
Get him to the ground.
That's the attitude. It's nasty, and I love it.
Get him to the ground. Get the offense on the field. Get the defense a rest. Give them a break. The Packers are going to get some extra rest after this game. If you can limit what they have to do tonight, because the offense dinks and dunks, like you said, and keeps the defense limited, which would be great. All good things for the Packers. I think they've got a great shot. Packers are very fortunate. This short week, they're healthy, and they didn't have to travel. The Eagles, different story. So this is a game the Packers can't overlook, but it's one that I think that they should win.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. I think that the Packers should win tonight. So before we get to predictions real quick, there were a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay.
I'm pulling that back up because it was being weird.
All right.
Okay, so first question, where is Josh Jackson? We did just talk about that. He played 15 snaps last week, and he is going to get some of those inside linebacker snaps in the nickel because they're thin there. After Raven Green went down, they're thin there. So they played him and Will Redmond in that position a few times last week. So I would say Josh Jackson probably, I would expect his snaps to continue to go up. The problem with Josh Jackson is last year he was very inconsistent as a corner in coverage. So I think his biggest issue is that he's a little bit slow. Josh Jackson is not exactly the fastest guy.
Right.
So
he's not slow, but he's not speed.
With guys like Kevin King, he doesn't need to be the second guy, okay? And if he did have to come in and play slot, that would be okay. But don't expect to see a ton of Josh Jackson because they are so deep at corner.
So the corners are going to be key. The safeties are going to be key. But again, don't rely on the defense. Let's let the offense carry for once, and hopefully they can do what they do. Some primetime games, they've done well in the past. It's a different season, new era. Matt LaFleur is 3-0. If he wins tonight, he is the most successful head coach in Packers history to start his tenure.
Right, so for the beginning of tenure, yep. Absolutely.
Which is absolutely incredible. Saw some messages about Kumaro. He is out. He will not play. He is injured. Right. I guess the stream dropped at one point. Sorry,
guys.
We're at a new
spot.
Still here. We're at a new spot, and you can tell this is a great vibe here. This is the Stadium Club. in Chandler, Arizona, and it is getting packed
It's
in here. And
packed.
this is on a Thursday night on a game that's on national TV.
They don't care. They want to be
On
here.
Sundays, there would
Yep.
barely be room for us to stand back. We'd have people back here with us.
Yep. Yeah.
It gets crowded.
Yeah,
It
no,
gets
you're
very
right.
crowded. But for those of you in the house, if you like the show, let us know. Share your thoughts with Carrie.
Yeah, we'd love to come back. So,
All right, predictions.
one last question, because it's important. This
All right.
is a good question.
Okay.
Do the Packers need to trade for a wide receiver 2 because we can't get one right now?
They do not. I don't
They
care
don't.
if it's a wide receiver 2. If they want to trade for a wide receiver that can play in this offense, sure. It depends who it is and what they're getting. There isn't anybody out there who's really great
I don't
that
think
I can think of.
I don't think they need to. Don't sleep on MVS.
I mean, a trade, you could really ask for anybody. You could trade for anybody, but what are you giving up? What are you
Sure.
giving up? And I think it's early in the season. I think if they struggle tonight, you've got a little bit extra time before Dallas. Maybe they make a move with the extra couple days. They can integrate someone into the offense. I just don't know if these Packers panic. I don't think they will. They can only do so much in the offseason. They addressed the defense. The defense did great. But as far as receivers go, I think it's a little too early to start giving up on everybody. I know Geronimo Allison's had his struggles, but we've seen guys have up and down games. Devontae Adams struggled for the first couple years in his career for the consistency. So
I don't think that we should panic about the receivers because the offense overall has been slow. So it's not like the receiver play has been bad. Aaron Rodgers has struggled. Like, this offense is struggling in general. So you're going to be surprised later in the season when Marquez Valdez-Scantling becomes very consistent and is a big player for this offense.
Yeah.
I would rather have that and give him those opportunities than trade for a guy that can maybe be plugged in right now and become that guy. I'd rather have MVS take over that and be that guy. That can happen this season.
All right, we got a couple minutes left, so prediction time. You want to lead us off?
Sure, I will
All right.
give you my prediction. I think the Packers should win this game. And not only that, I think the Packers are going to win big tonight. With the injuries that the Eagles are struggling with and the way that the Packers defense has been playing, I think the Packers win 31-21.
I got the Packers winning. Might be a late touchdown by the Eagles to bring them a little bit closer, but I got Green Bay scoring 24 points because that just seems to be about the sweet spot for this offense. Hopefully they can prove me wrong and put a few more touchdowns on the board tonight.
Yep.
But I don't see Philly scoring more than 14 points, so I've got it at 24-14 Packers. They go to 4-0, heading into a little bit extra rest before the Dallas Cowboys game. Any final thoughts?
Well, I just want to say, if you're in the YouTube chat, make sure you hit that like button. If you are not subscribed to Cheesehead TV on YouTube, well, you should be, and that's something you should do right now. So if you're in the bar here, make sure you look up Cheesehead TV on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We make lots of content at Cheesehead TV all the freaking time. There's so much Packers content, lots of Packers talk, so get in on that. You can join our Facebook group, facebook.com/CHTV Live. Actually, it's facebook.com/groups/CHTV
And if you
Live.
want to support the show monetarily,
You can do that on Patreon. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to pull that up here because then I could read it. Patreon.com/Cheesehead TV Live. If you want to support the show, support what we do, you can do that right there. So that's it, man. That's all I got.
all right.
It's game day.
It's almost time to go. It's time to go, Pack, go is really what it is.
right.
Stadium Club, thanks for having us. This has been a great time here. It's been a lot of fun. Let's watch some football. Go, Pack, go. This has been Cheesehead TV Live.
Thank you for listening to Cheesehead TV Live. Check out cheeseheadtv.com for more great Packers content.